Welcome to the Andy Staples Show, again presented by Sling. You may have noticed over the weekend that logo was not appearing on the show, and there was a problem. Sling had gotten into a carriage dispute with Disney. Disney wanted X amount of dollars. Sling wanted to pay X amount of dollars, and they couldn't come to an agreement when Disney's contract expired on September 30th. And Sling, which had been advertising on this show that you could get all of the college football that you want, did not have any of the ESPN channels on a college football Saturday. And I know how frustrating that is for you. It was very frustrating for me because Sling did not communicate to us that this was going on and did not let us know that this was even a possibility. But they're going to try to earn your trust back. They've got the Disney channels back on. So ESPN, Disney, all of those channels back on Sling. And they're going to continue as the presenting sponsor of this show. So you have the option to give them another shot if you'd like. I understand if you're frustrated, but that is the situation. And we are going to get on with a great show on location in College Station, Texas. Ari is going to learn to yell, and you're going to love it. On to the show. Greetings from Aggieland. I'm here with Ari Wasserman. It's been quite a day already, Ari. We first stop in your tour to SEC. We're going to start here. We're going to wind our way through SEC country. We're going to wind up in Tuscaloosa at the Texas A&M Alabama game, which we circled on the calendar in May for very different reasons than I think we're interested in it right now, which I think is fascinating too.
There were moments in time where we're like, did we pick the wrong game? And then it turned out we picked the perfect game.
Oh, yeah.
For different reasons.
There's drama all over the place in this game. And you've got, the Nick Saban Jimbo Fisher thing isn't gone. It hasn't gone away. But we went to Jimbo Fisher's press conference on Monday. He got one question about it. He said it's done. And everybody moved on from it, not because, hey, we think he really believes he and Nick Saban are cool now, but there are much more pressing issues at Texas A&M as they come into this game 3-2 in real danger of coming out of this game 3-3. And I got to ask you this. If you owe a guy $87 million or whatever it is, $85 million, there's nothing you can, he's not getting fired. It's not happening. And you aren't happy with the way things are going in year 5. As a fan, as a supporter of the team, as a administrator, what do you do? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think that the only thing that you can do is accept it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to compare this to what I'm going to compare it to, but I guess I will.
Oh, okay.
But if you're in prison and you have a 20-year sentence, in year 1,
if you don't like the food too bad,
it's like you eat the creamed corn, and you kind of move on. Now, saying that. Rooting for Texas A&M. This house is a prison. No, but
I don't think they were thinking that when they signed that contract.
We were talking about this earlier today, Andy, and I think it's kind of the crux of the issue of, what is Jimbo Fisher going to do to fix this offense and to fix the situation he's in? And I don't know that we've ever seen, and you know this stuff better than I do, but I've seen a coach that is in this type of quote unquote hot water without really facing any danger of paying any repercussions.
There's no danger whatsoever. Yeah. Like you just watched Paul Chris get fired when 2 weeks ago you'd have never thought that would happen. There is no chance.
I mean, Jimbo Fisher could have walked into the press conference with a shirt off and a cigar in his mouth, and it would have been fine.
Exactly. And it's fascinating because they did put themselves in this situation. Now, the current administration, Ross Bjork didn't hire Jimbo Fisher. It was Scott Woodward, who's now at LSU, who signed into that contract. But they did extend him last year.
They did.
And that tacked more on. Now, even if he was still working off the initial contract, he's not fireable. And again, I don't think anybody at Texas A&M wants to think about that. They just want him to get them in contention to win SEC titles, to get them in contention to win national titles, but they're not. And it's interesting because a lot of the questions to the A&M players today and to Jimbo Fisher were about what happened last year with Alabama, where they entered the game in a very similar situation. They had just lost in that case, they just lost to Arkansas and Mississippi State. In this case, they've lost to Appalachian State and Mississippi State. The offense was sputtering. There were quarterback injuries that they were dealing with. All this sounds very familiar. But what happened in that game, Zach Calzada, then Texas A&M's quarterback, played the game of his life. An offensive line that had been kind of struggling to gel came together and basically took Will Anderson out of the game. That was the worst game he played last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you got kind of an anomalous performance. And Texas A&M won. It was a huge moment. They rushed the field. But then you had the Ole Miss and LSU games where it put them back in 8-4 land. And I think the recruiting class and the excitement over having the number one recruiting class kind of papered over that a little bit. But now as the fans look and some of these young players are being asked to do quite like Evan Stewart is the wide receiver from that class. He's got to be their number one wide receiver with Anaya Smith out. I'm not sure he's ready for that role.
Yeah. It's just like this weird situation that they're in because, Andy, I wrote 2 weeks ago in Dallas when they beat Arkansas, but that was a very important win for that program because it prevented the wheels from falling off.
And if KJ Jefferson does not extend that ball out,
the lug nuts are loose there. Yeah.
We're talking about a 2-3 team going to Tuscaloosa right now.
Yes, but on the same token, when you're in a position that you're in with this contract, and the fact of the matter is the coach will be here for 5 more years at the very least before anything real starts to even be discussed.
Right.
Is the best thing for the program for the wheels to fall off in order for them to make damn sure that whatever needs to be fixed is addressed. Because you look into this game and you say, well, Texas A&M is coming into this game the same exact scenario that they were in last year. They beat Alabama a year ago, and they're right back to where they were.
Right.
So, do we consider them beating in a alternate universe where they go to Tuscaloosa and beat Nick Saban again for the second consecutive year? Is that the correction that this program needs, or do they need to go there and lose 55-0 in order for the message to keep getting pounded and pounded?
It's interesting. This is my Oklahoma column from Monday. Like, you got to feel the pain before you can actually make the corrections. And
because that fools you into thinking it's okay.
But there's a difference between Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the pain that Oklahoma has felt pretty much localized to the 1990s. You come off the John Blake era, the pain of that, you hire Bob Stoops, and that's the correction. And then you're just good from then on out. You win a national title, you win a bunch of Big 12 titles. A&M has not done that. A&M, it's been nothing but pain.
Well, Jimbo's supposed to be the correction.
He's supposed to be, but he's not so far.
He's got the contract for correction.
Right. But in year 5, he's not the correction. So, right, does this force him into making it? And that's the thing. I'm curious, and we'll be here for a little bit longer. We'll be here a little bit tomorrow as well. I'm curious to talk to some folks around here to see how they feel about that, because I feel like at this point, this was supposed to be better. And how frustrated are they that they keep winding up back in the same place?
And I have internal conflicts with this too, because we came into this year thinking this was a 9-3 team if things go well, right?
It was not. We never said this will be the year that Texas A&M crosses over, that they get put over, to put it in wrestling terms. Like they're not moving into like an SEC champion type caliber team or a national title caliber team in 2020. Nobody was saying that.
Not even people here.
But the idea was a step forward, and then next year.
And the step forward would be a 9-3 season, maybe. Yeah. Competitive losses to the Giants of the SEC and offensive flashes that make you be like, well, this is the direction we're going. Mm-hmm. And really, you don't want to be looking
at defensive flashes. I'd take either one at this point.
I do think that the worst possible comment that you could possibly hear if you're an A&M fan, or if you would have told an A&M fan in August, we're going to be saying this on October 2nd or 1st, whatever today is, this is the exact same spot they were in last year. That's like sirens going on.
Right. Yeah. Because they're not dumb. They know that win against Alabama, if you play that game with all those same players 100 times, A&M doesn't win most of those.
10?
Maybe. I mean, A&M still had good players.
Yeah.
So,
but you can't say 0, or you can't say 1 or 2 because 1 out of 1.
Yeah.
But I think 10% of the time, maybe.
Yeah. And I think that's the frustration. And there's that. There's more to this game as well, because you have quarterback injuries on both sides.
Right.
You have Bryce Young goes down. It's a shoulder injury. Nick Saban says it's not that serious. They're going day to day. Jalen Milroe came in and replaced him, and I thought Jalen Milroe looked great. On the other side, Max Johnson hits the thumb on his throwing hand. He's going to be day-to-day, according to Jimbo Fisher. We don't know exactly. We do have dueling sound bites from the coaches about this.
Yes,
they are spectacular. My personal favorite is the Nick Saban one. He's asked.
It's a Saban rant where he punches his own chest. So
yeah, and this was justified because you'll hear the question, but I'll set it up for you anyway. He's asked if they want to put a package in for Jalen Milroe, as if we didn't all just watch Jalen Milroe run their offense very successfully, by the way, for 2.5 quarters against Arkansas.
Yeah, just run it. I've got nothing to add.
All right, here we go.
You've talked about Jalen Milroe's unique skill set. Just given that, is there a thought of maybe putting a package together for him, regardless of Bryce's injury status?
We already have one, so. Do you want us to put a new one together now, just because he might play, or use the old one? I mean, we can do either one. I mean, I'll go talk to the offensive coaches and see.
Use that more often then?
Again, I don't talk to Jimbo on a regular basis, but I'll call him and tell him right after the conference if you want me to. I mean, you guys think I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with our offense and our team? You might as well make it up. I saw today where there's headlines in the paper that, I'm going to keep it a secret what we're going to do with Bryce. It sounded like me making that statement, but I've never said that. But it was there in black and white, so you can make up whatever you want to make up. Look at somebody else's running quarterback and say they should put these plays in. I think that'd be a better way to do it.
The chest bump is even better because he's wearing a Masters polo while doing it. It's the type of polo you would wear to go with your Edgewood Tahoe hat that you're wearing.
Well, yeah, I've never been to Augusta, but I'm sure I would buy.
You would buy 9 hats.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll go. But it's always the rant is always followed with the I don't know, the arms up. Yeah. But what packages are? You mean the offense? And if there was a package to install,
right?
When are they going to do it? What days of the week do you do that, Andy? You've been in a Division I program.
Well, why would you even need it? Well, you do it Tuesday, Wednesday, but why would you even need it?
Yeah, you just install the whole new thing.
How about you just run the plays you ran Saturday that works against?
And also, the other team's probably not going to score, so that's probably going to work in your favor as well. So.
Okay, let's talk about that other team and its scoring capabilities, because yes, that's the issue there. Max Johnson, we'll see if he plays. Jimbo Fisher said day to day. It sounds like Haynes King probably getting the call in this one. But of course, Jimbo was asked about that, and he's apparently been watching Nick's press conferences.
You said Max day to day. Do you anticipate Haynes starting Saturday night?
I don't know. We'll go day to day.
Go to your left there, Travis. You wrap us up.
What do you want me to do? Call Nick and tell him? I mean, guys, come on, man.
Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah.
You think they'd call each other after everything that happened?
Yeah, it would be funny if they did just go. Well,
hey,
I mean,
guess what I'm going to do?
Well, I mean, anything to get them on the phone probably would be a good thing, right?
Do you think Nick at this point, because he does have a clear advantage going into Saturday, if he really wanted to rub it in, do you think he'd call Jimbo and go, here's what we're going to do?
Have the two men spoken on the phone since the summer?
Ooh. They have the same agent. Could there have been a 3-way call involving Jimmy Sexton? Could that have happened?
Does that count?
An
What
attempt to
about
clear
a
the air?
one-on-one call or one coach attempt?
I'm betting no. Now they've been in the same. They've been in the same room.
They have.
They had to be in
a week
Desolator.
later.
Yeah.
After the incident.
Yes. So they've dealt with all that. It's so crazy for me to think, because now listen, I'm not going to be so kind of Pollyannish about it. We put a lot of coal in the furnace at the old content factory.
Yes,
thanks
we
to
did.
that.
We did.
So,
and it's a shame that the flame burned out. But this is, I think, to me, that's always fun off-season fodder, talking about things, and it kind of helps us use it as a jumping-off point to talk about the bigger. Because I thought that as much as we talked about that, we also spoke a lot about the issues of NIL and the way that it's perceived and stuff. And I thought it was valuable. I think this is a far more pressing and interesting issue, though. Because whenever you have actual team dysfunction, whether it be internally or on what you see on the field, I think that's always the most pressing, interesting thing that you can get in these games. And the fact of the matter is that they are going on the road to Tuscaloosa in a moment where, A, you're not exactly sure who the quarterback's going to be. And B, we're not sure it matters. And those are the two things that really kind of stick in your craw a little bit.
Especially since Anaya Smith went down, but even before Anaya Smith went down, everything looked so hard for Texas A&M's offense. It feels like everything must go perfect on every play for a play to be successful. And it's not like that everywhere. Like, you can say, well, you have young guys and you have this and you have that. We watched Lane Kiffin put in an offense as a first-year coach during a pandemic when he had no spring practice and limited preseason camp, that his players could run almost instantly and effectively. So it's not like it's impossible. TCU, Sonny Dykes and Garrett Riley come in this season.
Averaging like 40.
Their offense looks amazing.
Yes.
And it's the same guys that were there last year. So,
and the thing about it too, Andy, is what is this, year 5 of Jimbo? If we're in year 5 of Jimbo and your excuse is that they're too young, that's on you too.
Exactly.
Like, that's not like, we get out of jail.
We were looking
this is like, they shouldn't be that
young.
We
were looking at their receiver recruiting because Evan Stewart, true freshman, being relied upon to be wide receiver 1 right now. He's got a lot of talent, but it's not working out well. I tweeted the other day that has he been thrown a ball in stride since high school? Like, it's always behind him. He's always got to adjust to make the catch. But he has dropped some. Like, drop one in the end zone. He shouldn't drop against Mississippi State.
Right.
Let's be
tough pass. Should have caught.
It hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
So he was he was having to go back for it, but it hit him in the hands. That said, should he be in that position? No. Damon Demas maybe should be in that position. He got kicked off the team. He did that to himself. Some of these guys that they have recruited should be in that position, but you look at some of their top receiver recruits over the last few years. One's at Minnesota, one's at UCLA. They're just not. They're not developing these guys into producing high production players at Texas A&M.
And when put in a position in the transfer portal era to fill a need, they did not do that either.
Right, because you look at Alabama. This is a prime example. Alabama had the greatest recruiting class of all time in 2017.
All of them were hits, by the way.
It's the greatest recruiting class of all time.
Yes.
Period. But it was by far the best.
Second best. We're in Aggie land. Show some respect.
No.
What is it? It's
until these guys get to the draft.
Second.
They
best,
don't
it's
get
the greatest recruiting
judged.
class. There are two different ways to judge a recruiting class. One is greatest recruiting class of all time when we figure out 4 years in advance, or
that would be the good way to see if they actually became good college football players.
But the best recruiting class going into it was last year, and I don't want to get out of this town without making sure that when I think when I learned all the Aggie traditions.
Oh yeah, and by the way, you're going to hear that later in the show.
Yes.
Ari is he's married to an Aggie, and now he can speak a little bit of Aggie. We had a yell leader named Kitt, who this dude is awesome. And by the way, his bicep workout must be just beastly.
Yeah, Kip, if you are listening to this,
Kip is I mean,
jacked.
He's a dude, and Ari knows what he's doing now. You're gonna hear, and if you watch the video, see all of that later.
And I found out that my wife has a class ring, and it's in our house.
She has an Aggie
She
ring.
has a ring. Yeah, I was wrong when saying that.
She can interdigitate now.
Yes, interdigitate.
You're gonna learn what that word means too.
Yes.
You probably think it's something dirty, but it's not.
It's not. Well, yeah, it's not dirty.
All right, but before we go too deep down that rabbit hole, the class that included Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones also included Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs III. Jalen Waddle would come a year later, but that is a pretty spectacular receiving corps. But those guys were gone, and once they left, then Alabama had to adjust to it.
Yeah, and when they did, what did they do?
Well, they didn't exactly so they had John Mechie, who was great, but they didn't have a true game breaker. So what did they do? They went and got Jameson Williams out of transfer portal.
And he turned out to be pretty good.
He turned out to be a first rounder.
Yes.
Now, I don't know that Jermaine Burton is going to be a first rounder this year, but they shored up a need with Jermaine Burton out of the transfer portal. They got a transfer from Louisville as well. They're trying when they don't feel like they have what they need. And is this Alabama offense as explosive as it has been in the past? No, it's not. But those receiving numbers, those passing numbers, you take at Texas A&M in a heartbeat.
And you go, this is what we're driving for.
Yeah. Sling TV has something for everyone. All your favorite shows on your favorite channels, all right at your fingertips. What you watch is up to you. It really just depends on what kind of mood you're in. So if you're looking for sports, Sling's got you covered with pro and college football and basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, racing, and so much more. Sling also has reality TV, so you can keep up with the latest gossip with today's hottest shows on channels like TLC, Bravo, MTV, and more. Don't forget about the news. Get up to date with today's most trusted sources like MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News. Feeling adventurous? Explore thousands of movies and shows on demand. So what kind of mood are you in? No matter your answer, Sling has what you need. Getting Sling is easy. Sign up and start watching in just 5 minutes. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with your included DVR space. And the best part is you can pause or customize your subscription at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it today. Reserve Bar is your online source for premium and luxury spirits, wine, and champagne. And now Reserve Bar offers same-day delivery. Reserve Bar has a vast lineup of rare and hard-to-find bottles, premium brands, celebrity spirits, and limited releases that you just won't find at your local store. No one does spirits gifting better than Reserve Bar. Looking for an elevated gift? ReserveBar.com has you covered. And you can have that gift delivered right to their door. Even better, turn that spirits gift into a cherished memento with custom engraving. It's perfect for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, you name it. Visit reservebar.com today and use the promo code Andy to save $10 off your purchase of $75 or more on spirits, wine, or pre-made cocktails, but only when you use our special offer at reservebar.com with the code Andy. That's reservebar.com and code Andy. The offer expires December 31st, 2022. Reservebar.com and the code is Andy. Imagine having one extra day every week, more time to cook healthy meals, work on that novel, or just binge some really good TV. Heck, I might just do laundry on that day so that I don't have to worry about it the other days. That sounds perfect to me. Now it's all possible with ClickUp, the productivity platform that'll save you one day a week on work, guaranteed. ClickUp began with the premise that productivity was broken. There were too many tools to keep track of, too many things in entirely separate ecosystems. There had to be a more productive way to get through the daily hustle. ClickUp is the one tool to house all your tasks, projects, docs, goals, spreadsheets, and more. ClickUp is built for teams from 1 to 1,000 plus. It's packed with features and customization options that no other productivity tool has, so you can work the way that you work best. Whether you're in project management, engineering, sales, marketing, or HR, ClickUp has easy-to-use solutions that create a more efficient work environment. Join the more than 800,000 highly productive teams using ClickUp today. Use the code Andy to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Sign up today at clickup.com and use the code Andy for 15% off. That's clickup.com and use the code Andy. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
So, that's the thing, too. I feel like it's just a personnel issue.
I think the Jalen Milroe thing is a good example, though. Now, Jalen Milroe was a player that A&M recruited. I think they took Eli Stowers over him in that spot. And Milroe also had committed to Texas and then flipped to Bama. So there may have been a flip to Bama.
It was a gymnastics.
Yeah, it may have been a flip to Bama in the offing anyway. But you look at what he did. And this gets back to that question that Nick Saban got asked and blew up at. And listen, a lot of times Nick Saban has a rant queued up, and it doesn't matter what you ask. In this particular case, the rant was aimed at the question.
Yeah.
And it's a good reason because
it was a natural rant.
You haven't been watching Alabama if you ask that question, because Alabama's offense has all of this stuff in it. It's a Cheesecake Factory menu, essentially. But depending on who's playing quarterback, you're only using certain pages of the Cheesecake Factory menu. And then
that's a really good way to put something. I'm gonna put that in my repertoire.
Go for it.
What page is Jalen Milroe?
Jalen Milroe, is he the one with the pastas and the?
That's a really good
chicken
page.
Pasta. That's a good page.
That's really good.
The burger page is pretty good too.
Bryce Young is the one that has chicken costoletta on it, whatever page that is.
No, I think Bryce Young gives you all of the pages and dessert.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of Bryce Young. But even when they don't have Bryce Young, even when in an emergency they have to bring in a guy who's not really played very much, they get a chance to run their offense. It is they're running plays that their receivers know, that their line knows, that their backs know, and it's effective.
Yes, yeah. Watching Texas A&M play offense is like having oral surgery sometimes.
It is.
I mean, it really is, and I'm not necessarily sure I'm completely aware of that. This isn't just like a do this one thing. I'm like, I'm Mr. King of play the quarterback.
Yeah.
This isn't just play the quarterback and it's over.
This
is a
we can get into Connor Wegman, but it's not a play the kid situation. Like, it's every quarterback who comes in, it feels the same way. It feels like everybody is pressing hard. We've got to do this way. This way. If this one little thing breaks down, if this guy messes up, we're done. We're done for. The play doesn't work. And Jimbo,
which is, by the way, Andy, football.
That is football, but there are offenses that are built to deal with certain personnel weaknesses you might have.
Sure, absolutely. But it's funny though. It's just like if everybody does their job perfectly on a play, every play's a touchdown.
Correct.
Right? So like, I mean, like that's. It's like if this would have happened, or this block would have been made, or this error didn't happen, we would have scored. It's like, yeah, I know, but you can't say that 1,000 times,
right?
You know, and without analyzing what's going on that causes these mistakes. Is it creating an environment where everything is overly complicated? Is it creating an environment where your players are tense? Well, these are all coaching questions.
It was interesting because Jimbo Fisher came in on Monday talking about how the players just needed to relax. And, he said it multiple times in his opening statement. So I asked a question about relaxing and what do they need to do to relax?
Why has it been so hard offensively for them to relax? Do they look comfortable in practice and it doesn't show in games? Or
I don't think they're not relaxed. Just got to relax. Sometimes you want to try when you're young and you got young guys in critical positions that sometimes they just want to try too hard. I don't know. I mean, we talk to them every day, give them confidence. They do it in practice every day, and just got to relax and play.
So, no, it's not about relaxing. He just said it like 5 times that it was about relaxing, and then he gets back to it.
The reason why you asked that question was because you used exactly what he said.
I used the word he kept using. So that it was very strange, and I think it's a case where he probably doesn't feel like he has a ton of answers either. So. Or it's not answers he wants to tell us, or the answers are not going to sound great to anybody.
Multifaceted, complicated. I don't know that you have enough time in a single press conference to address all those things. The question that you have if you're an A&M fan is because constantly I'm confident in what we're doing. Constantly, it's get the players to execute better. Constantly, we have all the players on our team that we need, and I've seen it in practice and all the coaching cliches. The question you have to know is it to borrow something from Nick Saban, in his heart, that he knows that there needs to be some soul searching in terms of the changes that need to happen in the program, where those need to be fixed, and does he have the temperament to systematically change those things?
Yeah.
And it's like there might not be. He might actually believe that, hey, we're a year away, and that's it. You know what I mean? So if they're a year away, then you can get through the season and then try again next year, or you go into next season or the off season prepared to address the issue and eradicate whatever's going on here.
Yeah, and this is the part where I think if you're an A&M fan, you just feel like you are banging your head against the wall. Because they had this conversation last year. And they had this conversation in 2019. And they had this. The only time they didn't have the conversation is 2020.
Yeah.
When they had a 4th-year starter in Kellen Mond. And they still lost to Alabama by a lot.
And I came into this year thinking this would be a fun team to watch.
No.
I thought they would be a fun team to watch.
Anti-fun.
A team that lost, but a team that made you think like, oh man, you see that play Evan Stewart made? Mm-hmm. Oh crap, maybe second half of the year, Connor Wegman, you see that dart? Like you have the pieces in play there to be like, you know what, I want to watch this team because I want to see.
Or maybe it's Anthony Lucas coming in and developing on the D-line and getting pressure on the quarterback.
Anything that would make you
playing. Yeah.
But this whole year, I thought would be like a semi-preview of what that 2022 class could do.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we've seen any of that.
No.
We've seen a few glimpses of Evan Stewart. He's their number one receiver.
Nothing they've done has looked fun. Even the wins have not looked fun. They've looked. The Miami game is a slog.
I was at the Arkansas game. It was awful.
Right, except for one really fun defensive play.
Yeah.
That saved their butts.
Yeah. And This isn't just like I see it in practice once the light turns on. This is it. I mean,
Right.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and he's not going anywhere. I don't think he's going to give up calling plays. I just don't think that is in the offing. So if that's what you're thinking is going to happen, just put that out of your mind.
And your theory of what should happen or what will happen is?
I think ultimately he might make some changes. There might be staff changes. He might bring in somebody who brings other offensive ideas. You know, what probably needs to happen if we're going to look at recently successful SEC teams is he needs his Joe Brady.
Right.
And, you know, obviously Ed Orgeron wasn't calling offensive plays for LSU, but Steve Ensminger was. They bring in Joe Brady. And Brody Miller and I talked about this on Football and Grits. You can argue that Joe Brady was calling all those plays. I am going to choose to believe when they tell us that Steve Ensminger was still calling most of the plays, but Joe Brady was helping formulate the game plan, was giving him ideas in the booth. That sort of thing can happen. It doesn't seem to be happening with Jimbo Fisher and Darryl Dickey right now.
A&M's issue play calling or their offense?
I think it might be their offense. I think it's
that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. And that's like I've mentioned this a few times, you know, Nick Saban sending Lane Kiffin on the vision quest to go explore all the various up-tempo offenses and come back and say, here are the things I liked. Here's what can be added to the Cheesecake Factory. That's when they added like 8 pages to the Cheesecake Factory menu.
I love this.
But the thing is, they didn't take away the appetizers.
Yeah, they knew what they did. They
like
knew what they were.
Southwestern egg rolls or whatever are still there.
Yeah.
Like I'm convinced they
we
could
go to Cheesecake Factory. I'm starving.
we might need to. I'm convinced though they could line up in an I formation, you know, make one of their tight ends a fullback, and run just a straight up lead
I
play.
feel like that would be the cheesecake, Andy. Wouldn't that be the cheesecake or the appetizer page?
I think the cheesecake is the onside kick they ran against Clemson in the national title game. That's the Godiva cheesecake right there. So, yeah, and it's a weird world in college football, and you know, I know we're kind of laser focused here because we are here, but I think this discussion probably is going to happen more in other places. Like if Michigan State, as bad as Michigan State is right now, and as bleak as things look, with Mel Tucker, I don't think you go, oh, that's it. You know, maybe this is a bad year. And if next year they're good, then you don't worry about it. If next year they're bad, you're right here. You're in this moment. Like, what do you do? It's Brian
like,
Kelly to LSU, same thing. If that were to get that.
Is there going to be like a certain point where we get to where it's like we're never giving out a contract structure like this ever again?
I just don't understand how.
Seem like a smart thing to
I
do
don't understand how 3 of them got given out. So
this
recently,
is a contract that Saban deserves,
which he has.
This isn't a contract that you give out
Right.
speculative.
There are
this
two-
is one that you give out after results are in.
2 college football coaches that deserve this contract,
Dabo
and Nick Saban.
Yeah.
That's it. And not even Lincoln Riley, who was very successful at Oklahoma.
You want to get yourself. You have to be able to pull the escape hatch.
Lincoln. I mean, this is Lincoln too. Like, let's say so far they're good. But let's say they hit a snag. Same thing.
I'm trying to think of like what this would be akin to. It's like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute, except nobody survives that.
No, it's like jumping out of an airplane with an $85 million golden parachute. You just sink.
Yeah, well, it's like because what do you think?
You just fall faster.
What you think you're going to do is you lock up the bright young star as coach, and your program is set for 10 years.
Yeah,
like that's the idea, right?
Yes,
and it's really funny because that's a big gamble. I'm a big gambling guy. If you think about $100 million,
yeah,
how many coaches have been recognized and stayed at the same place for 10 years and completely built the culture of that in the last 20 years?
Not many.
Honestly, like when you think about it, like what?
Mark Stoops is
one.
Kirk Ferentz
is another.
Gary Patterson did it, and then but Nick Saban is a 10-year plus.
We're not getting past your second hand if we're counting on our fingers.
We're not.
So who's paying $100 million to take that gamble? It doesn't make any sense. It's
exactly.
not even a calculated risk. It's kind of like throwing it out the window.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is, I guess it does keep you from making too rash a decision.
I mean, at least Jimbo Fisher won a national championship somewhere.
Yes.
I mean,
does it keep you from making a rash decision when you shouldn't?
What's the rash decision that even
you're fired? You're fired. We're going to buy you out.
They
Get on
even do
treadmill. No, they can't. That's what I'm saying. But Wisconsin just made that
You're putting yourself in a straitjacket so that your arms don't do something that you will regret.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
Correct.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess if that's you would think that the money would be a good enough. Would be a good enough.
That's what the money's for, as Don Draper would say.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't really know if I really buy into that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Even if you're Michigan State and Mel Tucker is awesome for 3 years, and then he bolts because you didn't give him this contract, that means that you had a hell of a 3 years and something that the next coach can build on, rather than what they're in danger of encountering.
Yes, and so that is what you got to deal with. So as we enter this coaching carousel with a billion jobs already open and more to come, ADs, public service announcement.
I'm going to look into the camera like
Yes,
we're on a telethon.
That's right. We're breaking the fourth wall here. Don't do this. The person they can fire when they can't fire the coach is you. Don't do it.
Are you Michael Myers and I'm Kanye?
Wait, no. I think I'm Kanye here.
Yeah, but
You're just looking weirdly into the camera like,
Yeah, like-
I can't believe he's saying this.
with
Right
that hard swallow. Because
Yeah. I'm Canadian. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What were
Enough.
you saying, Kanye?
Enough football seriousness. We have very important yelling to do, and that's right. It's not cheering; it's yelling when you're in Aggieland. Here is Ari learning how to hitch and how to whoop.
Be nice to me, please. Don't drag me through the mud.
How could we? It's amazing.
I think people are going to find out a way.
Here
I
is
think I know.
Ari and our favorite yell leader, Kitt, from Chicago. It may be the most amazing segment we've ever done. Let's talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you've got to check out Athletic Greens. I'm sure you'll all agree that most of us are not huge fans of taking a handful of pills or vitamins in the morning. But with Athletic Greens, you can get rid of all those extra vitamin bottles and finally make some room in your cabinet. Athletic Greens is an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good. You're going to enjoy getting your daily vitamins. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into cold and flu season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That's athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples. We are here in College Station, Texas with Kitt of noted yell leader producing town, Chicago. Big 5-star yell leader producing town. Kitt, how did you become a yell leader at Texas A&M?
Yeah, I guess it sounds crazy, kind of just most people they come to A&M are Aggies, growing up being an Aggie, but I guess my story is a little bit different in that sense. So I came to A&M on an Air Force scholarship. That's kind of all I wanted to do, and ended up loving A&M. And the second I got here, the first time I came here was actually for my new student conference where you get oriented, you sign up for classes and all that. And it was just my mom and I, and we were completely lost. We didn't know anybody. And it was honestly a terrible, terrible time. I always tell the story, I failed my math placement test and I couldn't get into any of the classes that I needed to. But during the new student conference, there's this presentation part where the yell leaders come out in Rudder Auditorium and they kind of just explain the traditions. They go over all the yells and the war hymn and stuff. They tell stupid, funny jokes, and I just remember laughing and having a good time. And it sounds super cliche, but that was the first time I felt a part of the Aggie family. And so ever since then, that was when I've always thought that'd be something really cool to do. I never thought I'd actually be here, but it was always kind of on my mind from that point forward. And fortunately, I've been really blessed. It's worked out amazingly for me, and just super lucky to have this opportunity.
Well, Kitt, if it makes you feel better, I'm very bad at math.
We've established that on our show. We make each other do SAT math questions on the show. So
It sounds like y'all have some funny stories.
Yeah.
So now you're here on an Air Force scholarship, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what brought you here. Your parents were from Texas or went to Texas State, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And so you said, it was the first time you felt like part of the Aggie family. Were you aware of the Yell Leaders? Obviously everybody knows the football team, but how much growing up in Chicago were you aware of the Yell Leaders or some of the other traditions of Texas A&M?
Yeah, not at all, really. I had a cousin come here and a few of my aunts and uncles, but we never talked about A&M really. It was kind of just never brought up. I always thought I would probably apply here just because of those relationships, but literally I knew nothing about A&M or the Corps or the Yell Leaders. I showed up day one, and I guess I got really lucky because it worked out amazing, but I knew close to nothing coming in, so that's kind of crazy.
When we got here, on the way in, I was like, the person we meet today is going to be from a family lineage of A&M people who grew up dreaming of being a Yell Leader, and
It'd be like the Matthews family playing offensive line here.
And Andy walks in and goes, "Where are you from?" Chicago. I was like, "Oh, okay." That's not what I was. But
if you talk to Nathan, he's one of the other senior Yell Leaders, and that's his story. He's a third generation.
Yeah.
His middle name's Kyle after Kyle Field, but that is very different from me.
So just take me into what it is, because we're explaining the SEC to me this week. What is your duty, in your vision? What is it that you think that your role is for this program, the students, the university, and everything,
Yeah, so I guess the mission and goal of the Yell Leaders is to promote and perpetuate Aggie athletics, spirit, and tradition. And we do this in a number of ways. Obviously, going to football games, midnight yell, those are the super obvious ways, but we also go to all the women's soccer, women's volleyball, men's and women's basketball, and we travel to all the home and away football games, and not only athletics, but we also do a lot of new student orientations, with fish camp and freshman conferences, Aggie Moms Clubs, Coaches Nights, literally so much else that is outside of athletics. And so I guess the goal of the Yell Leaders is just to be a visual representation of the Aggie spirit and be welcoming to all Aggies and just give them an opportunity to take part in A&M and show them what A&M is all about.
But you do it almost in your own language, and you have your own and you're gonna teach Ari some of this stuff. So he's got an Aggie wife. He needs to learn to communicate better with her. So,
can you help me communicate with
I'll do my best.
Help me communicate with my wife, please.
but it is fascinating to watch because when I've seen you guys during the games, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what's going on, and I've watched Midnight Yell on YouTube just to kind of try to get a sense of it. But I did want to ask about Midnight Yell because that's fascinating to me. You're standing there talking to 40 or 50,000 people. You're telling jokes. You're talking about the corny jokes that the Yell Leaders told when you first met them. Are those passed down? Do you workshop those at open mic nights? How does that work?
Yeah, so the fables, it's called a fable. So the fables that we tell at Midnight Yell, it's a junior gives one and a senior gives one. And they're made up stories. They're jokes we find online that we morph into stories about the other team. There's some ones that have just been passed down that are just funny that you use every year and stuff, and so we actually write them, we change them depending on the year and what's going on, but yeah, that's what it's called, a fable, and we give 2 of those before every football game.
So those are the ones that I was watching on YouTube for 12 hours last week?
Yes, those are the ones we also get made fun of for a lot, but that's just about people who don't understand it.
Let me ask you, Kitt, is it hard being in the video when people are making fun of you because they don't understand it? What's it like to be in this position? Because I went to the University of Arizona, he went to Florida. It's different from other places, and I think it's an honor and something that's incredible that you do, but is it hard to be in your position?
Yeah, I definitely think it has its challenges, but when things like that on social media happen, I guess that's just what's so cool about the Aggie family is everybody here supports you, and we don't necessarily care what everybody else thinks of our traditions. They're our own. We have great sense of pride in that, and they're not going anywhere. We're going to keep doing them, and we love them for us and what they mean to us, and we would love to share them with everybody and explain them, but we know everybody's not going to get it, and that's all right. We're just going to do our thing. And so while there is lots of challenges in this position, time management, just how busy our lives are, it's 100% worth it, and it's just an awesome awesome position.
So you and obviously, a lot of traditions that even based on what you wear. I gotta ask. One, you've never skipped a curl day.
You guys got some hogs on them.
How do they teach you? Is there a course when you were a new yell leader on getting the perfect sleeve roll? Because I've been working on my biceps, and I'm hoping if I can get them popping that I can roll it like that.
Oh yeah, no, it does take a little while. It's just like technique. You just fold them up. We starch them super. They get dry cleaned and
How much
starched.
starch is being used on this?
I don't know. You have to ask the dry cleaner, but it's probably ridiculous.
More starch in this shirt or on my plate. What do you think?
I've seen you at Olive Garden. I know how you operate. So
it does take a little while, but you get the hang of it, and before you know it, you can just roll them up super fast, and they'll be good to go.
All right. Well, Kipp, we need to have Ari. He needs like a mini fish cue.
Okay.
He needs to learn the language.
Definitely.
So let's.
I know this one.
Whoop. Okay.
That's a whoop.
Yes. So anything that's like good bull or going with A&M tradition or
what is good bull?
Good bull is just like a generic term that describes anything that's pro Aggie spirit, all in that general direction. So if the Aggies win, that's good bull. If people show up to midnight yell, that's good bull. If you are taking part in our traditions, it's good bull. If you do well on a test,
it's sort of like
good bull.
Prego in Italian. It can mean anything.
Yes, it can mean anything you want it to mean, basically.
Like that. All right.
Okay.
So I'll take your mic. I'm gonna.
So here, let me ask him one more thing, Andy, real quick. Let me ask you this, Kipp. So as I was watching these videos, there's one specific motion that I continually notice.
Okay.
And I don't understand. I tried to Google it. I asked my Aggie wife, and I hope I don't out her on this. She doesn't know I'm supposed to. But I'm gonna give you the mic here, Andy.
Okay.
But there's a certain. You make the punchline, right? And
yes.
then you're.
So it's called the hitch.
Okay.
When we like that.
Yeah. What?
So
that.
So I guess let me back up a little bit. Like why we pace back and forth, like why the juniors pace back and forth at the beginning, and why we pace back and forth when we talk, all comes from a long time ago. There was an Aggie, and his name was Peanut Owens. And when they used to do the yell practices on the steps of the YMCA building, those steps are like kind of small, and the legend has it that his feet were like so big that he couldn't really keep his balance. So he just started like walking back and forth and talking into the mic and telling the fable. And every time he would turn around, this is what the story says, so take it with a grain of salt, but he would like almost fall off, so he would start this like hitching motion so that he could just turn around. So that's kind of where it came from. I don't know how it evolved to what it is today, but just one of those little
traditions. There are a lot of famous peanuts in football history. You got Peanut Tillman with the peanut punch to knock the ball out when you're trying to tackle somebody. So this is Peanut Owens.
Peanut Owens, yep.
All right.
And I have size 9 shoes. I've got size 9 shoes.
Okay.
So that's not going to be a problem for me, but like,
probably
it's
not.
Like it always happens.
So we do on like the punchline or like big words, or there's be words in the fable, like when we say "Old Rock the Good Egg."
Yeah, Old Rock the Good Egg.
It's like a made up figure, just some.
But Old Rock's like the best dude ever. Like you want to have a beer with Old Rock.
The best Aggie around. And so you always hitch on Good Egg, and everybody will whoop to that.
Okay, so they go like this.
Old Rock, the Good Egg, and we go.
Yeah, the Good Egg.
Yep.
Am I doing this right?
Yes, that's perfect form actually.
That's actually perfect
We'll
form.
see if this Friday.
I was watching it for 15 straight hours last week because I'm trying to understand it. You guys have a big game. We're going to see you in Tuscaloosa this Saturday, and I wanted to understand that. So I'm happy that you taught me that.
Yes, sir.
So wait, all right, let's take Ari through. We don't have to take it through a whole fable, but let's get a whoop, and let's get a hitch.
So when you whoop,
is that right?
There's like the whoop is is part of the Wildcat, and each class here has their own Wildcat, and that comes from like a long story where there was a Wildcat on campus, and the upperclassmen sent the freshman out to go kill the Wildcat basically, but he got scared and ran away. So the freshman Wildcat, if you're a freshman, you just put your hands in the air and scream A. So it's like, hey! Now the sophomore Wildcat, rumor has it he went out there and like tried to shoot the Wildcat but missed all the 5 times. Which is why the sophomore Wildcat is A. Like 5 missed shots.
Yes.
The junior went out there and shot 3 times and hit him once, which is why it's A, whoop. And the senior went out there and just shot him once, boom, dead, A, whoop. And so, interdigitate your fingers.
Get that? Did you get that?
Interdigitate, Ari.
Yeah,
now.
that's a big word. That way you can show your Aggie ring off when you get it one day for all the students.
Okay.
And you're going to A to the ground once and whoop up, hiking your left foot behind your right knee.
My left foot above my right.
Right behind, like right there. Yep, just like that. Just try it.
All right, so we're gonna
A,
whoop.
Perfect.
A.
Are you making Ari a senior? You're saying he shot the Wildcats?
So I got it right out of the base. So this is A.
You may have to do the
That's freshman A.
Hey.
Yes, that's perfect.
A. Okay, and then the second one is
Sophomores is A.
Oh. A. But I missed.
You missed.
I
all
missed.
5 times.
Interdigitate.
Okay. Oh.
And
no, but A.
It's two pistols.
2 pistols.
Yes.
A.
And the
Okay.
junior
then
one, it's like the senior one, except you don't interdigitate because you don't have
Oh,
your
you
A.
should have ring
sorry.
it. Okay.
Yes.
Told you wrong.
And
Exactly.
that's A. Whoop. Is
Whoop
whoop
down
up?
for the
Oh,
junior.
whoop down.
Yep.
And then you don't get to whoop up until
So
you're
you're a senior.
Okay, and so the last one more
Kind
time.
of confusing, but if you are around all the time.
But you have to have an Aggie ring to interdigitate, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So this is a wedding ring of an Aggie.
That works.
So that makes me
You're
am I like an inner
You're half
inner
an Aggie.
Aggie
Honorary
marriage?
senior.
I'm an inner Aggie marriage.
You married into this.
Whoop!
Perfect.
Ooh, that was
And
Hitch for me.
Old Rock, the good egg. Whoop! Yeah, see, I'm good. I got it.
I think you're ready.
Yeah, I think I'm ready too.
We're going to sit and listen. If Kitt, for whatever reason, can't perform in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, we're going to roll your sleeves up, Ari. We're going to do a lot of curls this week. A lot of curls. A lot of curls this week. So we're going to do that, and you are going to take over if Kitt can't do it.
I think you can do it.
Yeah. If I would have known that I was going to be next to the perfect specimen of the male species in a gently pressed, starched uniform with these big biceps, you got me out here looking like whoop, like but I feel like I understand a little bit better, and I think I have a better appreciation of what you guys go through, because like it does seem to be like a Twitter sensation for the good and the bad. You know what I mean?
All PR is good PR.
Yeah.
That's how we look at it.
This is the right attitude,
That's right. Old Kitt the Good Ag. Thank you so much.
Kitt the Good Ag.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you guys.
We're back. Thank you so much to Kitt for putting Ari through that. And listen, I'm just trying to think. Jobs in college that require you to talk to 40 or 50,000 people at a time, like they have to do at midnight yell.
Well, tell them what you told me about the camera angles, because I think it's a very
well. Yeah, I was talking to somebody who is from here and understands this very well, and so those midnight yell videos have become popular on YouTube, and people make fun of them. If those videos were shot from behind the yell leaders, it would be a totally different vibe for the viewer
and understanding what's going on.
Yes. Yeah. Because there are, like I said, 40,000 people that they are facing, and they are all acting in unison and following along and having fun. And they are like, the bar's empty out here the Friday night before a game because people go to midnight yell. They don't do that anywhere else. It is fun. And, my thing about this is people make fun of what the Aggies do, and they make fun of what Auburn fans do, or they make fun of what Texas fans do, or the Oklahoma State fans with their paddles, or all these different things that people do. I love that everybody has their own thing in college football. I think it's annoying when every Big Ten fan base thinks humming along the Seven Nation Army during a game constitutes a tradition. I like when everybody's got their own. The whiteout at Penn State is so cool. The checker the stadium at Tennessee was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the more of this and the more uniqueness there is in this is not the NFL. It's not piped in the same Imagine Dragons song over and over. This is what makes this fun.
Yeah, I will say, as you guys all know, my wife went here, but I've only driven through here. This is my first time actually spending time here. And we were on one of the main drags of the university, and Kitt, who was teaching me how to do that, multiple people stopped and said, "Hey, Kitt." Everyone's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, people went out of their way to be nice. You walk into the student union where we ate lunch, no hats. And everybody, jokes about how weird this place is, but it's charming. I really like it. I honestly, these people are very nice. And, the thing that just to piggyback on what you said is that with such our temperament as people to make fun of things that we don't understand or that we're not a part of.
Right.
And what you have to look at when you look at what Texas A&M does is stuff that they've done for 100 years.
Yep.
The people who do it know it's different. The people who do it are just like us, but it's just what they're taught to do when they come here.
You heard Kitt talking about it, because Kitt is, That was what I found most interesting. I assumed when we met the Yell leader that we were going to do this with, it was going to be like a fourth generation person who grew up in Katy, Texas, or grew up in a Grand Prairie or somewhere like that, and their mom was an Aggie and their grandpa was an Aggie. No, he's from Chicago.
Yeah,
and
Chicago.
So this was all, but I think the way he came to that and decided to become a Yell leader was really interesting, because meeting the Yell leaders was the first time he felt like a part of the campus community.
Yeah, and being able to talk to him and his temperament of what's it like to be relentlessly made fun of.
Yeah.
And his viewpoint of how to handle that, I thought was great. And
man, if you got guns like Kitt,
yeah,
ain't nobody making fun of you.
Yeah, no one's gonna make fun of this guy to his face. But I just think that it's different, and people don't like different. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it, the thing that we love about college football is packed stadiums, big time programs, all the things that this place has to offer. And they might do it a little bit differently. The hissing thing is a little off kilter, right? It's different, but that's their thing. The same way that each and every one of the people who listen to this podcast have a thing.
Yeah, you have a thing at your school that you love. The school I went to, it also has a between the third and fourth quarter song that they sway to, but it's a little bit different song. It's "We Are the Boys of All Florida" instead of the Aggie War Hymn, and now they've added "I Won't Back Down" by Gainesville native Tom Petty. If you go to LSU, you're waiting for that band to play Neck, and that's not even an official tradition. That's just one they tacked on that's just fun. But I love that part of it. And it was funny because we were talking to Kitt after we got done. This will be his first time doing a game in Tuscaloosa, because the last time they were there was COVID, and so I said, just make sure you're somewhere on the field about 30 minutes or so before the game when they play Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the first time that guitar riff starts, you're
I'm
like,
excited.
I cannot believe I'm here.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I mean, that's one of the most exciting things that, I've encountered in my career, being able to experience that for the first time, and I just feel like coming here and people are like, they want you to hate A&M. They're probably one of the top 5 most hated programs in college football, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you come here and actually try to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, we got to talk to the person who was on the videos.
Yeah.
I don't know how you leave hating them.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because they're just people like everybody else, and they have their things. And in college football, and especially in the SEC, everybody's got their things.
Yeah. And
it's sacred to me, weird to you. But when you put it together on Saturday,
what is it?
It's magic, is what it is.
It's the perfect expression of what college football is.
It's magic. We got more of the tour. Ari and I have been to Buc-ee's. We're going to hit multiple truck stops throughout the South. We got a lot of stops. We're going to wind up in Tuscaloosa this week. Keep an eye on Ari's Instagram, my Instagram. I'm Andy_Staples. He's Ari Wasserman. Woo! My Twitter, his Twitter. You're going to see a lot of our travel adventures. And stay locked into this podcast, because we're going to have a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you soon.